Johnson. Yes, and I was born and raised here, and went to high school here. Went to elementary school out west at Shickley, District 86, and then moved up here when I was in the third grade, fourth grade, somewhere there. We moved up to where my folks live now, or did. So anyway, yeah, I grew up here, so I've been here my whole life. But then I left, of course, and went to Hastings College and became a music teacher. And from there, I went straight to Colorado, to the University of Northern Colorado, and got a master's in education before I ever started to teach. Then I started in western Nebraska. Basically, tried to work myself to death. And finally, the medical people said, you need to do something completely different. And my dad was ready to quit farming, and my brother had just come back from college. Daryl and Howard, they were both back. So I came back to the farm. But I did a lot of subbing in the winter time, different band schools around, particularly Sutton and Geneva. I spent a lot of time in those schools. And then lo and behold, one night, I got a phone call from Shickley, from the school board. They had actually removed the teacher from the system in February and begged and pleaded for me to come in and finish the year. So 15 years later, I was still here. So then I was back into teaching again. I was in high school, Shickley had a summer band, and we had band concerts every Wednesday night for 6 weeks. And so then after I had graduated, before I was teaching, I guess I was still in college sometimes, but I'd come back sometime, they'd ask me to direct the high school band on Wednesday nights for their concerts. And of course, the street was lined with cars, and we would set up and do the band concert, which is about where the library is today. It was an empty block there then. I had already started mentoring young band directors around the state through Nebraska State Bandmasters and so forth. Kids that are getting started teaching. I had principals, superintendents calling me. We have this new young teacher that we think will do pretty good, but they need some guidance and help. Anyway, I started that. And today, I'm still doing that. This last year, I had 5 different schools. So yes, I'm retired. No, I'm retired to the point that if I don't want to do something someday, I say no. I don't have to go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning anymore. But yeah, I'm still there. But of course, I majored in instrumental music, but also pipe organ. And I play organ for 2 churches right now on Sunday morning. Play for lots of weddings. Last fall, I played for my 135th wedding. Wow. And as my wife says, why have you kept track? But I have. Actually, I probably have every wedding program I've ever played. I still get asked around the state. Last spring, I directed Class D All-State Honor Band. The year before, I did Class C All-State Honor Band. So I guess I'm still out doing something correct or something. I still get asked. Great. And I do a lot of sessions with just teaching music in rural schools and what to do. Actually, twice in the last 3-4 years, I've gone to the National Music Educators Convention in Orlando and in Dallas and presented sessions on teaching music in rural America, which has been kind of fun to do. Yeah. So yeah, I have a crazy, wild life. Well, I don't know. I don't have one favorite memory. But the one thing I did course, being in music and everything, I lean that way a little bit. But it's been a few years, but I remember, it's been several years now, and probably before you girls, you were really little, if you do remember, the community and all the churches worked together really pretty well, and so forth. And they came and wanted me to direct a community chorus. And we had a community chorus for about 10 or 12 years. When I guess before I had gone back into teaching full time here again. And I was so impressed with that all the time, because all the churches, every church in town and out in the country around the Shickley area, always a bunch of people would come. I mean, we could have 50, 60, 70 people in a choir sometime. We always did a Christmas cantata. And I did that for 10, 12 years or more. Or more than that, I think, really. I always was very impressed. That made me feel good just because I'm in music and think there's some value in music education and so forth. Oh, well, we can go back quite a long time. Okay, well, it's just, when I was a kid, oh yeah, always came to town, my folks always came to town on Saturday night. Dad would bring because we milk a lot of cows, had cream and egg, and bring the cream and eggs to the cream station on the corner, which was where the Lichty Brothers is now, Charlie Sandberg cream station. But there was a pool hall in town, and our brothers and I, we used to play pool on Saturday night with the other guys. But if we start at the very beginning, on the north end of town, that very first store on the corner, Al's, I think, on it now, that's where I bought my first car, bigger Chevrolet. And that was in 1955, because I bought a new car when I graduated from high school. I got a new car. And I bought that right there. And then just going on down the street, the next place would have been Al's Implement, would have been John Al's. And John, remember Al's from that. And the next place was a blacksmith shop. And that was Aaron's here. That would have been, if you know Mary Paul, then her dad had a blacksmith shop. Then the next place would have been a filling station on the corner, and that was Oscar Johnson. He owned that. Slim Johnson, we called him. He was about 6'7", real tall, thin guy, and we called him Slim Johnson. And he had that filling station on the corner for years. And then we go across the street, we had the Fisher grocery store right on the corner. And then the next door to that was the post office. It was in a building. All those buildings, of course, have been raised and redone and something. But yeah, and then the next, I think then there was an empty lot there, and that's where we had our band concerts. And then the next building was Dick Morgan, a shoe shop, shoe repair, and sold some shoes, work shoes and so forth, and did a lot of shoe repair. Then the next place was Schaefer Plumbing. And then the next place was, there was a hotel, way back when, there was a little hotel there, yeah. And then Schaefer Plumbing, another plumbing store. It was, I think maybe Schaefer had 2 buildings here or something, yeah. And then we come down to the end of the block about, and that building is still there. Of course, I think the one she has a popcorn store in there or something. That was the Owl Cafe. Oh yeah. Used to always go in there after school in the afternoons, and after ball games, she'd be open for us to come in and have something to eat. The Owl Cafe on the corner there. So, yeah, but on the west side, it was completely different, of course. Going clear back north up, and then was a fire. Well, first was a jail on the corner, and then the fire station. Of course, it was a lot different. And then there was John Pearl Cook. They had the meat locker. We could bring our beef to town and they would butcher it and so forth. And then keep it there in town. Because nobody had lockers or freezers in their homes in those days. So you have your meat in town in a locker box. We'd go to town and get a little meat to bring home for the week or whatever, yeah. And they had that. And then the next door was the cream station that I talked about, the cream and eggs, Charlie Sandberg. And then across the street was a bar, a tavern. And then the next, I think maybe there was maybe a beauty shop, if I remember right. And then there was a cafe. We had two cafes. A lot of the time we had two cafes in town. And then there'd be a grocery store. And it's basically where that grocery store building is now, I think. And then right south of that was a pool hall. And we'd go in there and play pool when we go to town on Friday, Saturday nights and so forth. And that's where the guys hang out and so forth. And then south of there was Winterstein Hardware. And then south of there was the building, it's still there, and it's Brinkman and Bart Brinkman, or his dad, Bill Brinkman, had that, and he sold insurance. And then south of that was International Dealership, Ed Steiner International, sold equipment, farm equipment and so forth. That was there. And on the very corner, that's just part of the store today, I think, but yeah. I remember it being a carpet store. Yeah, we bought carpet in there, so forth. Yeah, so, and then of course the Opera House down the block. That's where everything was. When I was in high school, that's where we had all of our plays, all of our concerts, everything was in the Opera House down there. So we carry our instruments, our horns and everything for band practice every day. We'd go down there. That's where we had band. And then in the old gym, which is over here, yeah, that's where all of our ball games were at. And we had the largest gym at any school in the round. So we hosted all the conference basketball tournaments, district tournaments, way back. I remember having them, oh yeah, a lot of them there. But on the very west side of that old building was the library, the Shickley Library. It was just a small, but I remember that. And then when later on, Shickley started kindergarten. And that's where they didn't have room at the school to have a kindergarten class, so they had it down there at the library. Oh yes, the railroad was going through town. We had two trains. Now, I don't even know what they, I suppose the Union Pacific and the Burlington or something. I really don't know the name, but yes, the depot was in town, probably right across the street from where we are here. Yeah, there was a train track right here, and there was a depot. Yes, because and the Zemans were their last name, Z-E-M-A-N, and their son Frank Zeman. He was a year younger than me, I believe, but went to high school, yes. And so they lived in, and we used to go to his place and play after school, yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's been a good place to raise our kids, and they all graduate from here. Of course, nobody lives here today. They're all elsewhere. But I thought they all got a good education here. They all went in, they're all in medicine today. So I would say very supportive. People are very supportive of each other. I think it's a very safe community, probably. People try to be sure that it stays that way. And I think the whole community is, I would say we're a family-oriented community, probably. And we try to take care, to help each other if you need to. I mean, I think it's a very supportive community. I really do. you know, but they cooperate and work together. I think everybody's very friendly and so forth. And we do lots of things, and I think our community foundation had a lot to do with that as far as putting our name out across the state of Nebraska. And you have to find out where you're from, and they say, oh yeah, that's where that community foundation, the Shickley Community Foundation is known all over the state of Nebraska. Yeah, and it's very supportive, I mean, and they do a lot of things. And I think that helps to put our name out there too a little bit. Yeah. I think it's a very clean community and very supportive. They work together. I mean, and the community, and it's a farming community, so there's many farmers and so forth. But then how they come together with the businesses on Main Street and so forth. And I think a very good example of that is what the business people do every year. Like we just did here a couple weeks ago, their dinner that they have. And it's amazing. I mean, there's 600-700 people show up at those some years. I mean, it varies. But yeah, and everybody's very supportive and comes. Yeah. Maybe try to, I don't know what the answer is, to get a restaurant. I think a restaurant is the one thing this community lacks. I really do. Yeah, and I know I hear people say that too all the time. And we all know that. You know that too. Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, I think we're pretty self-sufficient, you know. Yeah. But when you have big companies like Lichty's and Alf's and Carlson's and employ a lot of people, that helps too. But I know the thing that I'm very impressed with today, right now, is all the young people that have moved back to Shickley, gone away to school, to college and so forth, maybe worked away from home, and maybe gotten married and so forth, and decided, you know, I want to come back to a smaller community to raise our family and so forth. And just the number, if you stop and think and count, all the number of young couples with not just new homes, but homes have moved back to town and so forth, and are employed here and so forth. So I think we're very fortunate that way, and I think that will help keep it Shickley going. And definitely, I know you look at the enrollment in the elementary school, and you're going, really? Yeah. See new homes being built all the time here. It just blows my mind, really. I said, my goodness, the Shickley school should just really continue, really. And there's a lot of support. I mean, there's a lot of community support, I think, you know. We say, we don't need anybody, we'll just do it ourselves. And I think, I mean, there is that attitude, I know a little bit, definitely. Oh, yeah. Well, I think you have to you need to think positive, and look around and see what's going on and so forth. But be thankful for what you have, what your parents had as you grow up, realize, you know, and just set a goal and then strive for it. And sometimes you don't reach that goal immediately, but just strive for what you want to achieve, yeah. Whether it's right here in Shickley or not, I mean, but maybe in the area even, so forth. But yeah.